everybody. I'm really excited to hear what our guest will share about the topic DAOs for social good. It's something I'm really following. I really do, but it's one of the domain where the Web3 DAOs innovation can bring a lot of value. I'm very curious to hear your thought, your point of view. Welcome Hans, welcome Cedric, welcome Lasse. I will ask first quickly to introduce yourself. Let us know what you are doing in Web3, and I like also to hear why are you there. Let's start with Hans. Thanks.
Okay, thanks for that introduction, Laurent. Hello, everyone. My name is Hans Koning. I'm from Amsterdam in the Netherlands. I've been involved in the blockchain since 2013, 14, 15, I guess. And always had a strong interest in what the root cause of blockchain is, and that's actually its governance structure, its decentralized aspect. So I've always been involved in DAOs and in governance thereof, and my involvement has not been limited to, but focusing on DigiByte, Pivx, MetaBrands, Neptune Mutual, and a few other projects. And I personally prefer to focus on the governance aspect. And I see Web3 where a lot of things we've created, established, and developed in the past are coming together. Trustlessness, open source, decentralization, and permissionlessness. And DAOs definitely are a great tool to bring the social good together. And I'm sure and look forward in touching up on that further. So with that, I would like to pass it on to the next speaker.
Lasse, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. This is an awesome event series, and thank you to the team for all the work putting this together and bringing together some really awesome folks. I love the internet and technology because we can all see each other and we can learn from each other and we don't have to be in the same place. So I'm Lacey Hunter. I'm from Seattle, Washington, which is where I'm at right now. I've only really been working in the Web3 space for the last year and a half. I was introduced to it actually in 2017 in a venture capital competition, of all things, where an entrepreneur had built a basically continuum of care medical records company where the patient had self-sovereign identity and that could kind of follow them from the hospital to the urgent care to outpatient and whatever it was. And I'm a former banker. And so I saw this and thought, this is amazing. The amount of efficiency, the amount of transparency, the amount of redundant effort that's going to just suddenly go away. Like, this is phenomenal. And so the venture that I'm leading right now is sort of fast forward from 2017 till, early 2022. I spent my time working at Amazon, doing a lot of different things, finance, product management, supporting Amazon Fresh. And I happened to be in Davos last year and attended a panel where I learned really about the challenges in the humanitarian aid space, not only for provenance of goods and understanding where things were coming from, but making sure that people actually received what they needed where they were. So I learned there's not a demand signal. There's not a lot of great record keeping, like all of these things that are solvable via supply chain and are especially like a great use case for blockchain. For all the things donors want to see, where is my money going? NGOs and folks that are trying to help the people that need help want to know where they are and what they need, but they want to do it in a secure way. So they're not exposing them potentially to bad actors. So with that said, the venture is called TechAid, but we're basically an infrastructure play. I say we're Web 2.5 right now because what we've learned through some market research is that, with the original vision of TechAid was that it would be a DAO. But talking to customers, doing market research, kind of being out in the field, saw, wow, there's a gap in sort of knowledge.
We will dive in all of this challenge with a concrete experience, and I'm really excited to hear this. Cedric, welcome. Cedric is in holidays, but with us, it's the magic of committed people. Thank you. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm in Egypt, but normally I'm based in Paris. So happy to be there too. Congratulations for the organization, for all the team of the greatest Laurent Perrido, MC of our heart. So here I'm coming because I'm launching a metaverse a metaverse that will be based on a blockchain game to promote wildlife and nature conservation through a specific tool that is the DAO. And the idea is really to put people directly into the DAO with project holder everywhere in the world, and to have an impact, because I'm here because I really think that blockchain can revolutionize and be a big game changer in impact and charity business in general.
Thank you. I will start our discussion. We talk about DAOs for social good, how leveraging a decentralized autonomous organization to tackle global change. But before going through Lassie experience, Cedric vision, Hans, you have a pragmatic experience since a moment, a strong background. You have been really active, contributing strongly, constantly through bear market. Can you tell us what's your current analysis regarding the evolution of DAOs since the beginning to today, and what we have faced, well, maybe what we are still facing to really see DAOs being able to deliver massively, acting for social good? What is the current situation?
Well, I honestly feel that at the moment we're a bit on a juncture, if you like, and on crossroads, perhaps a better word for it. And I do see that DAOs are becoming more mainstream, more socially accepted, more community accepted, more ingrained in blockchain. I also see DAOs being a little misused, and so it's to me it's a bit on crossroads. Are we going to take DAOs seriously, and are we going to treat the DAO seriously and use it for the benefits and the good it can bring to the whole ecosystem, or are we going to let other people sort of run away with it? And I have a bit of a deja vu at times when it comes to the 2017 ICO craze. The beginning was absolutely fantastic, great projects came to light, and then all of a sudden a lot of people launched an ICO not necessarily having the right fundamentals in place before starting a company. And what you sometimes see now is that some projects, just for adding a layer of security or for the social good feel factor, add a DAO structure in it, while it actually isn't necessarily a DAO. And that I find a bit of a worrisome phenomenon at the moment to see. So if you ask me where are we with DAOs, I would say we're at a crossroads, and I see a lot of positive signs for developing the DAO and developing good use cases for DAO regarding voting or regarding accountability and so forth and so on. So that's really good. The indications are really good, but we also need to be very much aware of that. We are all the DAO, we are all the community, so we also need to be alert on phenomena we actually think they shouldn't be necessarily be part of the ecosystem. And we also need to have the guts in that way to stand up and speak out if we see something that we feel this isn't necessarily DAO, or is this really thought through properly and adequately. So again, I would say, where are we? We're at a crossroads.
Thank you, Hans. It's really interesting. Lasse, you told us, started to explain, but initially you were thinking about implementing a DAO, and finally, after some feedback, facing the reality, you decided, at least for now, to follow a different way. Could you explain why? Is it a lack of understanding? Is it a legal issue, complexity? a mix? What is your feedback? I'm really curious to hear.
Yeah, absolutely, and great question. So it's definitely a mix. There's a couple of sort of headwinds, and it's great to hear from Hans that we are at a crossroads, because I'm hopeful that with more mainstream adoption and with better use cases that people can readily think of and say, ah, that's an amazing use case for a DAO. So actually, I bet Cedric probably has some examples maybe from his work in development and production, and making innovation cycles go faster when you can kind of vote together and see what everyone's voting on, and how governance is working, but a combination of things. So there's still some challenges with just the reputation in general of like, isn't blockchain and anything that's sort of on chain for decentralized finance and speculation. So like what, so there's that aspect that you already have to sort of get folks on board with. And when you're dealing with a customer group where it's very sensitive, obviously you're trying to do good in the world, and trust is paramount. So you kind of have that headwind first and foremost. And then secondarily, legally, there are challenges that I think are probably all well aware of, where you have to be careful where it's incorporated. And to Hans's comments, are you actually set up to be a proper business? Do you have the fundamentals in place before you just sort of spin up a DAO and launch it? Like, those are really critical things to think through. And here in the United States, it's not the most regulatory friendly environment. And so that's real, where if you have something that's set up and, the SEC decides like, we see what you're doing here and we don't like it, like, you're done. You're gone tomorrow.
Yeah,
so
it's a real challenge.
Yeah, but yeah, and then the third thing I would just bring up quickly is just UX and like ease of use. So, because ideally what you want is to have this amazing infrastructure just running in the background, where it just works and it does what it's supposed to do. But it's also been difficult to find like the right protocols where it would be a very easy and a very clear story to say, here's kind of the end-to-end solution. So I'm still hopeful that we're going to get there. But for now, it's like, okay, great, we have longer term aspirations of spinning up a DAO or DAOs. But in the meanwhile, there is amazing tooling and tech that's Web 2, but we can do it, prove out the use case, and then be actually my CTO from my last company challenged me, like, go line by line and understand like which pieces warrant, either being part of a DAO or being on chain, and which don't, and have a very high standard, because it's also expensive. It's not the most user friendly. So there are challenges. But yeah, I think there's just, kind of a mix of factors.
Thanks for sharing your experience. Two things. We have a Web3 Stronger Together partners somewhere here. Chair EO, I will share with you some information, and I engage you to discuss with them, because they develop a protocol dedicated to support NGO and solving some. Yeah, and I think there is a few combination. Cedric, you are in your project. DAOs will have an important role, and you aim to engage your users and community through the DAO for good, contributing to fight against the climate change, and not only. Could you explain what you have imagined, and which challenge you think you will have to handle?
Totally. In fact, I think that firstly we will have the same challenge, and we definitely have the same view on the state of now. Where are we on the DAO, and on the mass audience adoption, because we're talking about that. So for the moment, we will more be focused on Web3 community to make it grow and find new ways and test the process. We have the idea is really to make a metaverse that will be a game, so we are game centric. But as soon as you will buy your NFT to enter into the game, you will have the choice between four projects that will be. It can be a reforestation project in Amazonia. It can be a shark scouting to preserve a shark in the ocean. It can be many projects. We are building partnership with many projects everywhere in the world. And the idea is to, as soon as you make one step, you choose your project and you are part of a DAO with the project holder. And so we make a lot of evangelization, education with the holder of the project to make them understand that they will have to change their mindset, that they will have to be focused on their community. It will not be a check that will come to manage their project. It will be something that we will make some very short run, we will sync with them to the project, to the roadmap of the project, to create many milestones to address their community, to engage them more and more and more, and to create a real link with the community. So we will take all this time, these 2 years between maybe the first mass adoption or the first shift to create this and to build this. And I think it's a great opportunity. It will be long. It will need tools. I think that we need to develop tools to be more easy, to have less friction, because honestly, if I have to ask my mom to create his wallet and I have to explain her what is a smart contract, she just, I think that she maybe heard for the first time the word decentralization a few months ago. So we have time and we need to it will be a long process, but we need to do it. And I'm sure that we will figure it, because it's so mind-blowing when you understand the richness of all of this, that I think it's, I really don't have a doubt on that. We just need time and hard work.
Hello, Ganesh. Thank you, Cedric. It's really interesting. I have a few questions following your take. Hello, Ganesh. Nice to have you on board. I will quickly ask you to introduce yourself. What are you doing, and why are you involved in Web3? And we will come back to our discussion.
Okay, first of all, I apologize for the delay.
No worries.
Yeah, there's just some mishap on my side. But really happy to be here. So maybe I'll give you an introduction of what I'm trying to do as well. I'm the founder of Firebond, and what we do is essentially we're kind of really building a very strong infrastructure for DAO operations. So if you could imagine maybe Notion, Trello, we are kind of building that for Web3 communities and DAOs. So we kind of, I've been in the Web3 space for the last 2 years, and primarily I was engaged with community management for the last 1 year. And I saw the main issue is that when it comes to community management or DAO management, it's all being done on Discord and Telegram, which are mainly like community channels. So we decided to just take a heavier take on providing that infrastructure so that we could continue or empower mission-driven communities out there to do what they do best at.
It's a good point. Welcome, and I'm glad you joined us to contribute, because after this first round, what I keep in mind, there is no DAOs, and we can't solve any. We can't contribute for social good without a community, and it's a challenge to engage in the long run the community. You also face some legal aspects, regulation aspect, and it's a reality. So there is two approach: saying I try to be compliant, or I do it and let's see. And also the tools and simple tools. We also have discussed during a previous panel about mixing Web 2 and Web 3. How long do you think, and what we should do to better involve people, and explaining to each crypto people involved in crypto blockchain that contributing to a DAO, whatever is the DAO, and even more if it's a for social good, it's also contributing to the whole ecosystem, not just, and it's not necessarily trying to get a quick, profit value, but it's contributing to the growth and the sustainability and the, let's say, the perception of regulators and outside non-crypto people to restore, let's say, the reputation that we can have with all hack and scam we have seen last few months, scandal.
Okay, very interesting question. Thank you for that, Laurent. Let me quickly go back a little bit in history of where blockchain came from. And if we just look at how blockchain originated, it was purely about the code. Code is law. The algorithm is sacred. The cryptographically protection is sacred. And that also meant that you could have an ecosystem that is completely trustless. I don't need to know you, I don't need to like you, I don't need to trust you, but I can still transact with you because it's protected via an algorithm, cryptographically protected, and the code is ruling it. So I don't need to know you, I don't need to see you. It is a trustless ecosystem. What we now do with DAOs is actually bringing, in a way, the human component, the human factor back into the blockchain. And I think that's why DAOs are actually so relevant and are becoming so relevant, because a lot of people, me included, have missed that human interaction. After all, humans are socially active or socially interactive creatures, and purely relying on code and purely relying on algorithms is fine for certain transactions or engaging into smart contracts. But if you actually want to develop a blockchain and actually want to create something together with your community, you need to have a level of interaction. And that is where the DAOs come in, and that is where the DAOs are becoming more of an instrument and more of a tool today. So that's always a little bit of context. You see in the beginning, completely no human involvement. And now we actually see, luckily, human involvement back into the blockchain, and that's via the DAOs. And even if you say Web3 is a trustless and permissionless ecosystem, yes, it is, but it's also a trustless and permissionless ecosystem because we interact and engage with each other, and we trust the community to be involved in that process. So that's why, for me, DAOs are becoming so relevant in Web3, and that's why, for me, the DAOs are becoming an important factor in the creation and the further development and engagement with the community. Because after all, we can all say that we love Web3, or we can all say that we are in favor of DAOs, but we are all N is one, and together we are a community, together we are that voice, and together we are that vehicle that can actually make decisions, make steering, make an effort, and work towards a collective goal. We can only do that as a community. And for me, the DAO is a perfect vehicle where we as a community can come together. Yes, we have disagreements. Yes, we have different opinions. Yes, we have different priorities. But at the end of the day, in a DAO, by default, we as a community have a consensus in how to go forward. So for me, the community part of the DAO is the most crucial part of the DAO.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm really I share your vision. Last say I also see that you agree with Hans.
Absolutely. Hans, do you teach a class? I see that you're working on
it's highly inspiring. Thank you, Hans.
Yes, I think, I mean, your comments are just, first of all, they're super inspirational, and it gives me confidence to hear that there are other folks that are saying, listen, it's not just about n=1. And yes, the human component matters so much because at the end of the day, we all know technology is just a tool.
Correct.
It's built by humans. So in general, it's very important to know kind of who's sort of calling the shots and who's making the decisions. And having something like a DAO enables that human component, which is just so important. So hopefully, with more and more use cases that people can really grasp easily and understand straight away what's the value proposition. Oh my gosh, I can see the history of voting and like how decisions have been made by this body. And by the way, especially for social good, I mean, let's hope, you know, with like the UN SDGs and different sort of reporting requirements that are coming down, the folks are going to want to say, yes, I am part of this DAO. This is the involvement that I have in it. And with things like token gating, we can know like, okay, this is the equivalent of the board. And that's who's actually doing sort of the highest level governance. This is the level that's the community. And we can see the interaction over time and really understand how organizations have been shaped. Because right now, you got to go back, read through meeting minutes. I mean, it's all very sort of, you know, old school, archaic, or go back, you know, read the publicly published financial statements and, you know, MD&A, and that's fine. But man, the cycles of innovation and the ability to get really good feedback from trusted individuals, like the DAO is the perfect mechanism to enable that. So super inspired by your comments, Hans.
It's really valuable. Ganesh, what is your point of view, and how you told us that you are building the tools for, and how do you aim to contribute to better engage each participant? But because it's the main point, how we keep this commitment and how we create synergies and emulation. And for sure, when it's decentralized, we need something that creates the link, and any tool is welcome. So what is your point of view, and what's trying?
Sure.
How do you try to solve this?
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I keep thinking about these kind of problems every day, right? Before I share a bit more about the tools that we're trying to build, I'd like to circle back how things were done prior to how DAOs existed, right? You have forums like Reddit, where people go in and they share the same mission, they share the same idea, and they engage on a particular thread or channel. The tough part is, let's say you want to run a charity drive. You're not going to trust someone on Reddit to like park some money, like whoever the person is, depending the reputation points they have. You still can't hold that person accountable. So now with just the blockchain technology and how the DAOs are formed, essentially with some smart contracts and governance protocols, you can enable the community to take ownership over causes they care about and hold leaders and organizations accountable because of the smart contracts, for example. So you can even have like the treasury management. If everyone's contributing some form of money, it's very clearly defined over on a dashboard to show this is where the funds are going and this is how it can be used. I think Lacey highlighted a very key point, and that's what we're thinking about. Like when you want to start building a mission, an initiative, you want people who are most passionate about that mission. Initially, at the most nascent stages, you just want people to start contributing. But as we grow further on this, what we can do is what I would like to say, reputation management. So if you have someone with an anonymous profile who has contributed to maybe 10 social impact DAOs, this person ideally would be a perfect fit to contribute to your DAO. And we can continue building on their reputation from there. And this way, they are able to gain a certain form of recognition in the space as well while they are contributing to the system. They are also part of, they could be part of like a discussion forum for the governance proposal. So if you're putting out an initiative, it's not solely by you, it's a community-driven mission. Everyone votes on it, and the one with the most votes for the people involved in the community could take action on it. So I guess the approach around DAOs is kind of beautiful because it's no more a very singular approach of one person managing it top down, but it's everyone collectively having an equal part and being rewarded in the equal way of contributing to a particular project. And for us, the tools that we are trying to build essentially is more around the profile creation, being able to discuss this on forums, being able to do treasury management. So if you own a DAO, then you want this to be the go-to hub for you to collectively manage decision-making, payments, task management, project management on it. That's what we're trying to do in the long run.
Thank you. It's Cedric. Listening what Hans and Ganesh and Lasse just shared, you are building your project. What does it? How inspired are you? What do you keep in mind? What will you implement? Do you see some solution to some fault you have?
No, I totally agree with Hans. I think that code is low, but community is key, and both are a responsibility for us, for the creators, for the project owner who want to go on this field. We will need to be more transparent. It will force us to be really open to the community, to co-create with the community. That's really the aim. If you want to go in Web3, if you want to drive a project like this, you have to be clear in your mind on that. It will be a decentralization project. At the end, maybe you will have to give the governance to your community. It will maybe not be a company that will exit or something like this, and the DAO that you will build will be something that maybe will not be your own creation at the time, and maybe some people in this DAO will totally forget that you will be at the start of the project. And maybe, and it will be great if you arrive to this, that people totally forget the origin of your DAO. It will be a success, and your journey will be a success. So it's really a new mindset. It's really something that we are inventing every day. Every people who wants to create these things will maybe choose a prism, a different prism, and that's great. So I think it's really great. I think that we need people like Ganesh to create tools for us, because it will be key to engage, to make the decision making. We have a meet with Laurent, a great guy that is on anonymous. Who makes Swarm IA to help to decision making. Laurent, you didn't talk about XDAO, who help people to create DAO in 5 minutes. You just build, you just choose your module, and you can launch a DAO really easily. And that's really things we need. Maybe what could be cool is to have like a hub for DAOs with all ID, all implementation, maybe to be open-minded on what happened on the DAO field. And we really need to be aware of that, and to stay open, and to co-create with the community, to launch soon, to have community that will come and to consider that together we will be more intelligent. And that's really the key. We need to move forward together with them, with the people, with our audience, and that's. I think it's a great challenge, but so exciting and so inspiring.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Cedric. Hearing you guys, I'm even more confident with Web3 Stronger Together. I have in mind to implement DAO, and I have the same question, and I have a lot of new ideas. And guys, I will come back to you to interact and to try, because first I think that it's a great DAO. It's a great way to experiment first, because I used to say you can't say we are DAO down. It's a permanent evolution, because we constantly change individually and collectively, And I have here the keyword few times, together. It's really a way to, again, create a strong and sustainable long-term link between humans. I keep in mind that we could be linked together in one DAO, but also in another one. And it's something that brings new ideas, you know, kind of across a DAO approach, like we see now between layer one. There is still a lot to build. We see builders starting also to bring solution. The time is running fast. Next time we will have more time. To summarize, in a few words, how do you see the futures of DAOs for change for good?
If I would ask the question, and I'll be really short so I can listen to the others as well, because I prefer to listen to others than talk. I see the DAO as a great tool for participatory involvement. I see a great tool for being accountable, and I see it as a great tool for incentivizing positive behavior. And it's an absolute perfect answer to the crucial phenomenon, the crucial problem in our society, and that's trust. Better said, the lack of trust. And I see DAOs going for a great future.
Thank you. Ganesh?
Yeah, I guess I believe DAOs are still like a bit more in their infancy, but already have achieved so much. And there is still a lot of limitless potential for them, for them to be a true force for social good. The inherent nature of DAOs are open, decentralized, community-based organizations. They kind of led perfectly to the social impact sector, where greater emphasis is being placed on the importance of grassroots and community level decision making, as opposed to, like, you know, the normal hierarchical structures of charities and non-profits. I mean, I believe that DAOs will still be a very vital part for social impact, and we're going to see a lot more DAOs coming in the coming few years for sure.
Thank you. Cédric, your last word? Inspired? You will implement few things?
Definitely. 2 years ago, I didn't really understand what was a smart contract. And now when I understand now clearly what is the potential of this, I really have no doubt on the fact that it will help and be a game changer, definitely, to build trust and to change the charity, to change all the impact industry. And it's really the solution that we needed for us. I speak as a customer. I stopped to give to many organizations because you hear so many things and you don't have trust, and you don't understand where goes your money, and will it have a real effect? And I think that through decentralization, through DAO, we really have a solution. So we need to fight to impose and to educate and to evangelize on this idea, and step by step to reach a mass audience. And I think it's totally reachable.
It's an exciting challenge. Thank you, Cédric.
Definitely.
Lasse, the last word.
Oh, sure. Well, like Cedric said, we have to walk before we run. But man, DAOs are going to unleash, I think, an explosion of innovation. Once people understand, oh, this is how they work and how they can be used, especially in charitable and social good causes, people can decide and say what they need, where they are, and create a structure around that. And then with smart contracts and the visibility, I mean, it's just going to be amazing. So I'm super excited to see what you guys are all building, and I will be in touch, but I am feeling very optimistic after this conversation. Thank you so much, Laurent, for hosting.
Thanks to you all. It was a pleasure. It's really inspiring. Let's keep building together. We have so much to do and a lot of experience to implement. Thanks a lot for your valuable contribution. It was a pleasure. See you soon. Bye-bye.